You're tuned into the show
that informs, improves, and inspires racers everywhere.
The Northwest Race Report. And now, here are your horsepower and performance hosts, Terry Bridges and Glenn Lippy Tower. Can you hear this? Check 1 2 1 2 1 2. There we go. How is that? We're joined in the studio with podcast legend Shaun Hulbert from the Shaun in the Dirt podcast. We talk sponsorship tips, and Double M reveals some of his best tips on getting sponsors. We talk first wins and how they feel, results from round 1 of the Cage Kart Challenge in Salem, and results from the 2-day show at Roseburg. Our Blue Line Graphics in the seat guest is Oregon Outlaw Shops Christian Osborne, round 1 winner of the Cage Kart Challenge. All this coming up next on the Northwest Race Report. You're listening to the Northwest Race Report. All that brought to you by these winning businesses: Blue Line Graphics, True Tech Automotive, O'Hagan's Kart Supply, Scott Seal Coat, and Creative Ink and Embroidery. Informing, improving, and inspiring racers everywhere. It's the Northwest Race Report. And now, back to your horsepower and performance hosts, Terry Bridges and Glenn Lippy Tower. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Sorry about that. Give us a shout-out. There we go. Okay, we're good. My bad. We were just overlooking in a panic, and so we had some technical difficulties, so sorry about that. We'll try to hook it up and get you guys going. Who was P1 tonight? Jason Suchich. And, boy, he says, damn, P1 by a few laps. Well, yeah, you got a head start, too. Boy, we got a great show for you tonight. Well, let's introduce the team here. My main man, Glenn Lippy Tower. What's going on, Lip?
It's all good in the hood tonight.
Double M, what's going on, buddy?
Oh, it was an awesome night. No rain on the drive up, so life's good.
And sitting in with us today in the studio, his first time here, he decided to come check us out. The podcast legend, let me say. That is none other than Mr. Shaun Hulbert. And you can check out his podcast, Shaun in the Dirt. What night, Shaun?
Whenever. Yeah.
You don't have a set day?
No.
Wow. Okay.
I like it. No commitments.
So welcome to the show, man.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. How was the drive up here?
It wasn't too bad.
Was it?
That gave me a lot of time, though.
You did? What time did you leave? How long? Well, let's see. How long did it take you?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't keep track. I took my time.
Awesome. Double M, what's going on? How was your drive up?
Oh, it was good. There was hardly any traffic, and like I said, no rain. Air Church radio and a little golden earring when I get close. Radar Love. I always play it when I get close.
Lippy, you were close today.
Yeah.
You must have been busy.
I was. I'm busier than busy.
Are you like is that like a one-legged man kind of deal?
I am just going in a circle and getting nothing done.
Wow.
I'm hoping, though.
Wow. Well, hey, listen, while we get going here, first of all, happy 20th anniversary to Shane Biles and Renee Angel.
Oh, I saw that today.
Yeah, 20 years they've been married. Is that a long time?
That's a long time. When did they get married?
20 years ago.
96. So I graduated high school in 96. That probably doesn't make her feel old or nothing, huh?
Well, makes me feel old. I graduated in 81.
I was married in 94, so I'm 22 years in.
I was married in 91. How about you, Hulbert?
I graduated in 94.
Got married in
2000.
Ah.
Woohoo!
I don't want to talk about marriage.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Love and marriage. No, never mind. So, yeah. So welcome, everybody, to the show. Boy, we had a good weekend this past weekend. But the first things first, I also want to say a racer update. I don't know if those of you that remember that tune into the show every week, which you should be doing, we had the privilege of having UAS standout Andy Foley. Remember, Lippy, we talked about his accident at Dumpling Valley. It was a pretty big deal where he flipped and caught on fire, and his arm was pretty bad. And the good news is that Andy has been given the okay to get back behind the wheel.
Always good news.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he's raring to go. And he said he hit me up on Facebook today, and he says, "Dude, I'm ready. I'm ready to go win a title." So he's fired up, getting a new cart and a whole bunch of stuff. So, Andy, if you're tuned in, we here at the Northwest Race Report are glad you're back behind the wheel. And, man, just super, super stoked that you're going to be back. So good luck. Keep us posted. We'll be following you anyway. So, yeah. You got any crazy news? You got any crazy news?
Well, got to give a rest in peace to Chase Gibson. I don't know if you heard of that.
No.
He was a gentleman that was crewing for a race car team over in getting ready for the short track nationals, and I'm not sure all the details. So I just know they had an incident unloading the car, and he ended up passing away. I think last night or this morning.
Oh man,
that happened last weekend.
Was he a Northwest guy?
No, he's back east, but I mean Shane McMahon or Paul McMahon.
Yeah.
Runs the World Outlaw Series. He was running a car he was the driver of the car, and the car ended up not racing. But I know that if you go to the Chili Bowl, I know that Chase had a lot. He went to the Chili Bowl, so there's some guys that probably know him from the Northwest, I'm sure.
Wow, that's terrible. You know, you hate to hear that, especially when it's some stupid-ass thing, you know, like backing the car out of the trailer, you know? I mean, it's just, wow. Well, that just shows you, I mean,
I heard it was maybe a I don't really know a lot of the details, so I don't really want to talk, but I heard it might have been a malfunction with maybe the door or something not good with the car, with the door coming off the trailer or something.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't think the car hit him, but I think something else, something malfunctioned with the hauler, I believe is what I heard. But I don't really know any of the details. I just know that he was a crew member for a team that was running the short track nationals that Sammy Swindell won last weekend back in, I'm not sure, back Midwest or. Wow,
that's too bad. Well, we're sorry to hear that for sure. So, yeah, boy, our condolences to that whole team there. Boy, but we do have a good show for you tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about the Cage Cart Challenge, which was a heck of a turnout. And our Blue Line Graphics in the seat guest is Oregon Outlaw Speed Shop's Christian Osborne, who, by the way, wins this deal, and it's his very first victory.
Nice.
Number one.
Cool. And you said he was pretty fast from listening to what you were saying all weekend.
He was way fast. He was the measure. I mean, he was destined to win. I mean, and we'll get into that. But do you remember your first win, Lippy?
Yeah.
How'd it feel?
Great. Yeah. It was my second year. It took me 2 years. Well, year and a half to get into the circle. So yeah, I remember it definitely.
Was it a confidence booster?
There wasn't a lot of cards there, but a win's a win.
Yeah, so. Amen. How about you, Double M?
Yeah, no, I was a street stock trophy dash, and I was 15 and a half. I wasn't even old enough to really be doing it, so standing next to Trophy Girl, I remember it being a little awkward, just that young adolescent.
Yeah.
But you know, a win's a win, and that really kicked off the drive, and you got the feeling. So.
But what about when you won it and you got to pull up? You know how they pull up to the line and you get out and you go, "Hey, ladies and gentlemen, Mike Michael's in your trophy dash." I mean, that's what you used to dream about.
Yeah,
right?
It is. And you know, talking about sponsorship tonight, I just remembering it being drilled in your head that, you got to thank your sponsors. You know, that was all I was thinking about, was trying to give a shout out. So that feeling is hard to replace.
Yeah, there's nothing like. I mean, I remember mine. My father. I was trying to decide whether or not I wanted to change a right rear spring, and he comes floating by and he says, "Hey, Bridges, you see me qualify?" Yeah. I mean, because he could qualify good, but he says, "Well, you better pack a lunch. It's gonna be a long night." And I'm like, you know what? So I looked at my butt. I said, "Put that right rear spring in. We're going to town." So I call my wife, right? I call my wife and I say, "You better get down here because I'm winning this deal. Your dad just ticked me off beyond belief." I went on, win it, and the cool thing was I could see him ahead. I was getting ready. I almost lapped him.
Ooh, sweet.
So it was, and that was my first win ever. That was pretty cool. It took me 7 years, but I got it. I would have had one earlier, but Dick Bossart kind of screwed me up on one of them. We led 24 out of 25. He got me on turn 3. coming to the flag, and yeah. But if you're going to lose to somebody, Dick Bossart's the guy to lose to. The guy was super, super tough. So, well, man, we got a little behind because of the technical difficulties. My bad, because it was just on freaking mute, all of that. But we got a lot to cover for you. We got some really good stuff to you, and we're really looking forward to talking to Christian Osborne, too, as well. So, what do you say? Hey, we'll have to just kind of hustle through these results. But here we go. And tonight's Winter Circle Wednesday is brought to you by True Tech Automotive. True Tech is awesome. And they're giving racers, listen to this, they're giving racers a 25% discount on labor, on all labor. So people, take advantage of this. If you got your tow rig, your personal rig, your wife's car, your daughter's car, whatever you got, take it to True Tech Automotive, get 25% off the labor, and have it expertly done. I mean, they're super good. You can vouch for that, right, Michelson?
Absolutely.
So, True Tech Automotive, they are the bomb. So, Saturday, went down Friday night. Saturday, they qualified and had heat races at Salem Speedway. First annual Cage Kart Challenge. They're going to have two of them, one at the start of the year, one at the end of the year. It's going to replace the Cage Cup. Some big prizes going on if you can sweep it. But it was I think it was 90 total entries.
Wow.
They had 30. They had 30 outlaws there, of which. So get this. So it goes like this. So we run Saturday on Saturday the heats, and right they P-picked, and then they ran their heat races. And so then we ran the mains on Sunday. Well, Saturday night Red Bluff was rolling, and Jesse Caldwell wins Red Bluff. They turn around, they jump in, they load up, and they drive all night, and they're at Salem on Sunday to run the main events.
Wow.
Dude has to start in the C main. He goes through the C's. He gets that. He gets to the B's. He gets in, and he, in the Outlaw main, he finishes. He starts 13th because I think it was Angel, Osborne, Randy Phillips, 60 years old Randy Phillips was. Let's see, who else was up there? It was Osborne. There were 6 of them. And so they were automatically in. They were in. So Caldwell started 13th in the feature after coming up through the thing. Duke Johnson made it. He had to come through the last chance. Brian McCann Jr., and one other, let's see, who was it? It was Hill, I think it was. Chase Hill from Redding, California. He got into as well. And get this, Devin Borden was driving an Oregon Outlaw 500 for the first time. They went through a crazy deal. They had motor problems. 2 motors, exact same problem. Wouldn't run. I mean, it was just like it wouldn't run. So they thought it was crank issues. Come to find out, both motors had been apart. Both cranks had been out. And both cranks had the exact same problem.
Wow.
It was a timing deal.
Oh, dang.
So then they put a third motor on it for him to go and run the last chance deal. And he darn near gets in. I mean, he's one spot out with no laps in this 500.
Wow, that's crazy.
So I'm just telling you, Borton's going to turn that 500 class upside down. He's already been killing. You know, he won an Outlaw main event with his 250.
I think Carson, his other son, did really well too.
Yes, he did.
125.
Yes, he sure did. Yes, he sure did. So here are the results quickly because we got and we'll finish them up. But Taylor Fuller wins the Pee-wees. That's Speed City.
Oh, nice.
Yes. Drew Barry second and Keegan Asher third on the podium. Lane Taylor wins his first. Now, he was in the 125s, right? We've been hearing everything. His dad says, hey, man, where's the love for Lane Taylor? I was like, well, what do you mean? He's won. No, this was his third race in a 250, and he wins his first main event. And he won them all. He won the heat, both heats, and he was, like, untouchable. Dawson Hamas from Marysville, California, second. Bradley Lynn from Belfair, Washington, third. That was the 250s. Let's see. We go to the 120. No, I think right after them was the let's see here. It was the 5-horse open. Braden Brookshire in the 0. Dude won it. He was fast. Seth Waldall was fast as well.
Nice.
And Skylar Weinberger was 3rd. Yeah. Brookshire had you should have heard that 5-horse. I mean, it was, I mean, it was a nasty sounding, really nasty sounding thing. And 125s, there was only 6 of them. You believe that?
Wow.
6 125s. But they say that goes up and down. Carson Borden wins that. Alex Reich, 2nd. That's Suchic's son or stepson. And Michaela Patterson was 3rd. She's quite a wheel. Box stock. This was the killer right here. 17 box stockers, Lippy.
Wow. Class is growing.
17. But get this. So Brianna Fuller wins the heats, right? And it's like, boy, she's got this covered. So in the main, the cowboy, Jaden Trupp from North Bend, gets out front, and he's controlling this thing. I mean, he's got it. 1. They throw the white flag. He goes into 1. He spins out.
No.
He gets it going, and about the time he gets it going, Fuller passes him on the outside down the backstretch and goes on to win it.
Wow.
And we had just said, well, boy, looks like the Cowboys got this one, but you never know. It's not over till it's over. And he spins in turn 1.
Ouch.
Yes. The thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. Right?
No doubt.
I mean, you know what I mean? But you know what? That's what we love about racing. So, yeah, Fuller wins that. And then the open cage, it was all Christian Osborne all weekend. He wins it. And believe it or not, he wins it the hard way because there was tons. There had to be 8, 6, 8, 10 restarts. I mean, it was, so he did it the hard way, and he was money on every one of them. And
how many cars were in that class?
30.
Wow.
And
is that like the feature class of it?
yes, it was the Open Outlaws,
Yeah.
and he wins it. He's from Boring, Oregon, 16 years old. And Jesse Caldwell from Cottonwood, California, 2nd. Bryson James, you should have seen him.
Oh, man.
Dude was putting on a show, rim riding. And I mean, when I say rim riding, I'm talking the right rear was, I mean, I'll bet he touched the wall a few times. He was rolling, and he was the only guy up there. It makes you scratch your head. You're going, okay, so I just get blown by James. He goes by me like 5, 10, 15 feet higher than I'm rolling. And nobody goes up there to try it. He put on a show. He was getting 2 or 3 a lap sometimes. He was rolling.
Wow.
Yeah. Kyle Hausfeld was 4th. Schofield was 5th. Schofield started off pole and just kind of missed the setup just a bit. The Boogeyman 6th. Kate Jackson 7th. Randy Phillips, the 60-year-old driver. That's awesome. Stevensville, Montana 8th. Chase Hill 9th. And James Setters from Spirit Lake was 10th. Renee made it. She was 11th, but she kind of had a little controversy thing there at the end. But nonetheless, that's what happened there. So, yeah, it was good.
Sounds like a great weekend. For
Yeah, I was hoping you were going to come on Sunday.
Good numbers.
But it was good. Down at Roseburg, box stock went to Bricks Madsen. She did it both days. They had a 2-dayer down there as well. Brody Weiser wins the 125 250s. Sophia Bauer wins the box stock, and Scotty Fox wins the Open 500. He's the defending champ down there. That was on Saturday. Day 2, Bricks Madden wins beginner box. Natalie Richard wins box stock. The 125s went to Bodie Weiser and 250s. And then, let's see, what is Mr. Ridge? He wins the Jared Ridge wins the 500 with Scotty Fox in 2nd. Jaden Walbridge in 3rd. So that was going on down in Roseburg.
Nice.
Yeah. You got, let's see, what else? And then another big shout out to some of our Northwest drivers. From they were down Turkey night?
Yeah, down at Delta Speedway.
Yeah.
Jesse Schlotfeld.
Yeah. Third, right?
Yeah, he started up there. He was in the top 6 scramble, so I'm not sure. Forgot where he started. Yeah, but he finished. He drove down, finished third. There's a couple Northwest guys.
Yeah, let's see here. Colby Thornhill was 11th in the 600 restricted. And Theron Smith, he's got a cool story. He was 12th. Peyton Hagen was 10th. And what was the deal? Theron Smith has raised a bunch of money for the Big Al Foundation.
Yeah, like 10,000. What was it? Like 10,000 for this year. He brought another check down to Clint and the group that runs the Big Al Foundation. So, the Big Al Kids in Motorsports Foundation. There's a couple kids that are struggling right now, that are part of that foundation that are having some medical issues right now. So, big shout out to them and Haley Bauer and Christopher Linder.
Yes.
Big shout outs to them. I know they're having some medical issues, and they're great. I interviewed. She got the Inspirational Award at the Focus Midget. She was new to the Big Al Foundation this year. She was the newest Big Al kid, and she's just an amazing. She's got a medical condition, and being in the race car means everything to her. Like her parents had seen everything just by them improving. Just by her getting in the race car.
Wow, impressive.
Your favorite drivers and people of interest in the motorsports world. It's time for In the Seat, powered by Blue Line Graphics.
All right. Blue Line Graphics, they are the bomb. They've been quiet, but they have the unique graphics. And I say unique because they are unique. They got vehicle wraps and kart wraps and everything you need for your racing vehicles. Stand out, look good, and get noticed with BLG. Our guest tonight is he got his first win this weekend at round 1 of the Cage Kart Challenge. What is going on, Mr. Christian Osborne?
Oh, not much, Terry. How you been?
Dude, I've been good. I mean, how could you not be good after watching you put it to him this weekend?
Yeah, it was a weekend, all right.
Well, yeah, no kidding. So, okay, so my question for you is, you get your first win. That's a pretty big race to get it in. How?
Yeah.
Tell me what that win means to you.
Really, it's my first big 500 win since I moved up from the 250 class, and I don't know, just being at the first, it's one of those things that just makes you feel real good about yourself.
Yeah, man, I can imagine. I was asking Lippy about his first win and Mike Michelson, and Mike wasn't much. Lippy was a little older than 16, but Mike, you weren't much older than Christian 16. So
yeah, I was right there. I was real close to that.
Yeah. What does this do for your confidence, Osborne?
Man, just boosts my confidence a lot. This season at Salem, I mean, it feels like I'm gonna win them all.
That's the way it's supposed to, right? I mean, that is super cool. How was Dad? Was he pretty stoked?
Yeah, for sure. Dad was off the rails.
Yeah. So about just roughly, you don't have to know exactly, but how many years has it been you've been trying to get this first one?
In the 500 class?
Yeah.
A little over a year.
Okay, so that's not too bad. And now, had you won prior to this then?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I won plenty of 125 races.
Right. Well, and I'm sure you're probably going to hear that, oh, yeah, well, Caldwell was there. He was not, And here's what I say to that. He was there. But you did it the hard way. It didn't go green the whole time. And so there was probably I would say there was probably at least 8 restarts, maybe more. And you were money on them.
Yeah, and Jesse was there for maybe 2 or 3 of them. So
exactly. But it's more, you've got the rougher job, setting that pace and having it. So when you are coming down for a restart, I mean, take us through what you're thinking about on those restarts.
I couldn't stop thinking about Jesse Caldwell behind me trying to drive me dirty. but you know,
How?
I knew
Go
I
ahead.
knew I had good restarts, so I wasn't too worried about it.
But what are you thinking about? I mean, are you saying I got to be smooth? I mean, are you worrying about where you pick up the throttle? What's your process when you're coming on those restarts?
Coming down the backstretch, I mean, I'm just going through the line in my head and just, anxious of what the other guys are gonna do behind me, and just hope I get a good one and they don't jump me.
Right on. Now you say just worried thinking about Caldwell driving me dirty. Did he drive you dirty?
He wasn't close enough to drive me dirty.
Okay. All right. That's kind of what I thought a little bit, but that's
Yeah.
but that's cool. So
Yeah.
so what's going on with Christian Osborne? I mean, where are you wanting to go with this? I mean, are you wanting to go to big cars or what's your game plan?
Really, the game plan of the future is World of Outlaws, but near future is we're gonna run Salem with Roseburg and Red Bluff intermixed in those, and then next summer we'll hop in a sprint car down at Cottage Grove.
Wow.
For the first time.
That's
So
awesome.
360 sprint car?
Yeah, a little bit of 360 action and limited mostly.
Okay, so a little bit of sports. So tell me, how long have you been racing? When did you start? How old were you when you started racing?
Probably 6.
And you started.
Yeah, I was 6, so 10 years now.
Okay, and where did you start? Where do you primarily race when you do outdoor stuff?
Outdoor stuff, Willamette Speedway's always a good track. We made our first time down to Cycleland Speedway in California this year.
What'd you think of that place?
It was fast and awesome. I don't know, I loved it there.
Was that the Kyle Larson event?
Yeah, and we made one prior to that, a big old 2-day show.
Yeah, that seemed like an amazing event. I know Kyle puts a lot of time into that event, has a crew that does a lot for that event.
Yeah, it really was a great event.
So my question is, how did you get started though? I mean, was it something that you just migrated to, or did you say, God, or did your dad take you to a race and you said, man, I want to do that, or how did you get into the whole cage kart thing?
Well, Dad's been racing since I was born, and I think like the first 5 days after I was born, we went to the racetrack, and I didn't know much about it obviously but like 6 years later, Dad picked it back up again and said, "Hey Christian, how about we buy you a car?" And I was kind of okay, why not? So it just took off from there.
Wow. Sean, go ahead.
So how much advice does Dad give you, and how much does he figure in your plans for going from the cage karts to a bigger car?
Oh, Dad's like the big old boss man under the whole deal. I mean, he's he gives me a lot of advice, and he buys everything of mine, and
That's why he's the boss man, right?
Yeah, boss man.
Yeah,
because he's the owner of a speed shop, right?
Yeah, Oregon Outlaw Speed Shop.
And then and he races. What does he race now? I know he's racing too, right?
He's been racing in a 500 class since I've been in box stock, 5-horse.
Okay, and he raced some sprint cars too. Do I have that right?
Yeah, he raced 2 years ago, and then we just kind of didn't, I suppose. I mean, yeah, he got busy, and I got a lot of brothers and sisters and cousins.
How many brothers and sisters you got?
I got 4 others beside me.
Wow, sweet. Now, are you guys planning on being there on the 26th when the Ford Focus midgets roll in there? Because I think the cage karts are with that too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we're planning on being there and checking out what the midgets got to offer.
Yeah.
We're actually hoping to get a ride Chili Bowl in the 2017.
Wow, that's sweet.
Yeah.
That's really sweet. Now, would you guys be buying a car, or are you gonna be? Is somebody gonna put you in one of theirs?
We're hoping a rental program, and then we find a bunch of sponsors who'd want to back me in the deal. So,
have you guys thought about this Ford Focus Midget Series? Have you looked at it?
I don't know. Dad says it'd be okay if we skipped the midget class and went straight to sprint cars.
Right.
Because honestly, Dad says they're a lot of money.
Now the Northwest Focus Midget Series that Carla and Galen do, that would be a lot of traveling for you guys for most of the races. Because
it really would. They don't run around here a lot. I mean,
they ran what? They ran Sunset, and they ran Sunset, I believe, that Heroes race, and then they ran the Marvin Smith Memorial race, right? So they only had 2 races in Oregon. So that would be a travel for you. Now that would be a good series because car counts are in the 30s. So you'd be racing, the top midget drivers in Western Washington.
Yeah.
But it would be
really,
also traveling.
Well, yeah, but if they're going to Red Bluff a lot of, every other weekend or whatever it is, shoot, I don't think it's any further than Red Bluff. I mean,
that's quite a haul.
Yeah, and then the one good thing that they do is the motor program, is checked by somebody, so everyone has the same.
Yeah,
so,
that's a sealed motor class, so I mean, you're not going to be working on them, but it's just a thought, man. I mean, if you got the right deal at the right price, I guess maybe a guy goes for it. But
be excited to see you run in a bigger car, come up and run a lot of the, because I'm a podcast guy from the north, from primarily Western Washington. And I might try to get to Oregon, but it hasn't been much lately. I will be down for the Focus Midgets, so hope I can talk to you on the podcast then. That'd be fun. And congratulations on that win. Anytime you can get a win, especially against the quality that you were racing there, that's got to be a big deal for you.
Yeah, it really was, especially since the California guys came up, and it was glad to see them do good because we just want to promote the track as much as we can.
That's awesome. Well, hey, before we let you go, you got your first win, so you got to play the quick 5. Okay, so I'm just going to ask you 5 questions. You can't really think about them. You just got to say the first thing that comes to your mind.
All right.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. RFC or QFC?
RFC.
Gas or alcohol?
Alcohol.
How come?
Because sprint cars.
Right on. Let's see here. Well, all you guys I can't ask that, but I'll ask it anyway. Maxxis or Burris?
Neither. Hoosier.
Wow. Hey. Let's see here. Wing or no wing?
Wing.
Have you ever run it without a wing?
No.
What would happen if you did?
I'd lose. Probably.
And lastly, if Scooby-Doo was racing Dino, who would win coming to the flag off of turn 4 side by side? Dino or Scooby-Doo?
Scooby-Doo.
What makes you say that?
I watched Scooby-Doo and not the Flintstones.
Right on. Scooby-Doo. Yeah, well, right on, Christian Osborne, man. Thanks for being on the show, dude. And, dude, I can't wait to watch you roll again. I mean, when's the next time you're going to be at Salem?
The 26th and 27th.
All right, man. Stay in touch. Let's hook up when we're down there, okay?
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, man, thank you so much for being on the show, bud.
Oh, thank you, Terry.
All right, Chris.
Good.
Yep. Take care.
See you.
Bye-bye. Christian Osborne, everybody. And, yeah.
So his dad's Ron Osborne?
Yes.
Nice, very much. Okay.
Yeah.
I understand now.
Good kid, seems like. He's got his head on, and
yeah, he's a clean thinker.
Yeah, really for sure is. So
Dad's the boss, right?
Dad is the boss, man. Yeah, and he helps a lot of people, and that's one of the things I like about Ron Osborne is he sees the he's seeing the big picture. He's more for the sport. He put Borden in that car. He's got Jaden Walbridge in one. I mean, it's good for the sport what he does, and he's a class act all the way.
Stand up.
So yes, he is. So
cool.
What do you got, Lip? You got anything?
Nope. I'm worthless.
You're worthless.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. What's going on? Nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
Okay. Well, we're gonna move on here. Big shout out to Christian Osborne again for being our guest in the seat. Blue Line Graphics, they're pretty awesome. We're gonna come back in just a quick second and talk to you about Double M's got some cool sponsorship stuff. So don't go away. The 3 most expensive things you'll do in your life are buy a house, educate your kids, and go racing. What you don't need is another expense, and that's why you take your car and tow rigs to TruTech Automotive to ensure that they are maintained and repaired the right way with the right parts at the right price. And how's this for right? Extended to all racers is the In the Family 25% discount off of all preventative maintenance and repair labor. All you have to do is use the discount code NWRR to save. Now that's right. Get it done the right way, the TruTech way. TruTech Automotive, 6900 Northeast Highway 99, Hazeldale, Washington. 360-571-2302. All right. So we're back. How many, I'm going to ask, I'm just going to put it out there, those that are tuned in. What do you guys know about sponsorship? What is Kevin Bridges says KFC. Of course he does. What do you guys know about sponsorship other than it's tough? I mean, I'm gonna wait. Somebody's gotta know something. So put up what you know. What's the one thing you think you know about sponsorship? All right. So I'm gonna let me see. Watkins is here. JP made it. JP. Wow. That's awesome. I've been wondering. Did you see that? By the way, did you see while we're waiting here? So what is the one thing you know about sponsorship? We're going to wait till we get one thing up there. Somebody posts something. But did you see the video that JP put up there from Hills Ferry, that racetrack?
No.
Oh, my goodness. You didn't? Wow. Well, check out my page. It's on there. This place is killers down in California. Sponsors are hard, very hard. That they are. And so one step further, why are they hard? Why is it hard?
Money's hard to come by?
It is, I guess, right?
Yeah, money is hard to come by, but sometimes there's businesses that have money that they want to get rid of. It's just up to you to figure out the way to get it.
So is it true what they say? There's a time and a time of year that you should. Oh, hey, I'm sorry, but we make our decisions in the end of November, 1st of December, so our dollars are gone.
Probably, yeah. I mean, I'm sure each business is a little different, but I'm sure there is a time when businesses make their decisions for budgeting, for marketing purposes for the year.
Now, do you think there is a rule of thumb for how you figure that who you look at that's maybe a potential sponsor? So say you have a list, would you say, no, I'm not going to go there, but I might go here, and is there any rhyme or reason to that?
Well, I think so. I think it depends on how much time you want to invest, and you just need to figure out who your target audience is. It makes a difference on who you go after. You got to look at each kind of racing differently. I think you look at what we're doing, and then you try to target businesses. They're going to get a little bit of return out of what we do for them.
Right. So, and by return, you mean return on investment on their dollar,
well,
right?
I mean, that's something we're going to talk about here in a minute, but there's not an easy answer for that because some people are looking for different things. So,
and so, I guess the $64 million question is, why? What is that, right? Well, we're going to kick this off, and I'm gonna read you a couple of these are actual sponsors, and this is what they say about on how they go about choosing or deciding whether or not they're going to sponsor. So one sponsor says, most folks want sponsorship without doing any of the work. As a supplier of cold hard cash and graphics to my sponsored drivers, it really comes down to what can they do for us. As in, how are you going to make us more successful? So this means they have to be an ambassador for our company. They have to not only know our products, but they have to become a salesperson while at the events. Talking about the product is really not enough. They have to generate leads and perform like a true salesperson. Having said that, this is what I ask when we start to talk about sponsorship. What can you do for us? If they can't sell themselves to us, we won't take them on. If it's just a simple email that they send, like, hey, will you sponsor me? We hardly give it a second look. If it's a well-worded email that comes with a racing resume and how they plan on promoting us and generating leads, then we talk. Makes sense. And that's one way. The other one, it says, I have a strict sponsorship policy. If a person who contacts me doesn't already run parts he bought from us with his hard-earned money and hasn't already proven he promotes us, then I won't even consider sponsorship. The guys who are out there promoting a company first without sponsorship are the only ones worthy of being sponsored. They prove they like you first, and then you help them. So that's two sides of the coin. There's probably others, but there it is. So with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the second one that you said is probably a little hard-nosed, for what we're doing as far as running everybody's parts. I mean, I don't know. That seems a little unrealistic to me in our world that, go-kart racing here in the Northwest, to run somebody's products. I mean, I can't call Micron and ask them for a sponsorship, which maybe I should. I think that's one thing that we're going to talk about is where do you draw the line on who you ask for sponsorship? I think it comes down to want and how much time you want to invest in looking for stuff. I know when I was first starting, and all this stuff is my opinion, Terry. If you got the money to run your program and don't need to go out and look for sponsors, more power to you. That's awesome. But, when I was starting out, if I wanted the good liquid-filled gauges, I had to go out and find some money to buy them, and I wanted good stuff. So I put in the time to go knock on doors and look for stuff. So, but it is important that you are a salesman for whoever you're looking at a sponsorship with. So it's very important. I don't know, those 10 reasons that we struggle to get sponsorships. Do you want to read those just so people can get a little bit of an idea of what?
Sure. Number one, do not know how to market themselves and show their value. Believe doomsday news about the economy so they don't try. Fear is holding them back. Mental blocks. Using push sales tactics instead of pull marketing strategies. Not focusing on building business relationships. Focusing too much on racing results and not enough on marketing results. That's a big one. Racing beyond their budget until too broke to even start marketing. Waiting too late to start marketing. Expecting other people to do the marketing for them. And lastly, not being willing to learn and try new things.
Yeah, there's a lot of information there, and a lot of that's really good.
Oh, man.
There's some very valid points there that you can't overlook. I think the biggest thing that I would say is that when you're going to approach somebody about, and we talked earlier about it, calling it sponsorship, is that the right word to use? It's more of a partnership. The business is more investing in you, hoping for a return that they're looking for. Now, the return that they're looking for could be financial. It could just be exposure for their business, or they could be doing it because they believe in this person that's came to them and asked them for help with what you're doing. I think that's important that when you approach them, a lot of businesses these days are pretty goal oriented with what they do. So I think it's important when you approach them that you have, I don't know if you need to go as far as to have a pamphlet, but definitely have some info about yourself, about what your goals are for the season, and be specific about those. They want to know where their support is going and what you're going to do with it. And then also offer them, before they even ask, what you can do for them. Where on the car or cart is their name going to be? Offer to bring your cart to employee day or the holiday party to have it on display, so they feel like they're part of your program.
Right. Well, and I've heard this before. A lot of guys go in there and they say, "I'm Mr. Michelson, and will you sponsor me? And if you do, I'll put your name on my cart and I'll put it on my trailer." And and I listen to that and I go, "Well, no kidding, you will."
Right.
I mean, that's like, you don't even need to bring that up. I mean, that's
It's
pretty
expected.
much a given that's going to take place. I mean, I don't even think anybody's going to question it. You would be wiser to go in there and say, because that's probably what they're expecting, right? Is to say, hey, listen, hey, my name's Mike Michelson, and I've got I'm running in the Predator class, and I think I've got something here that maybe would, be good for your kind of avenue of sales. I've got a captive audience that's, of this and this. I mean, do you think demographics you need to have?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good idea to let them know where you're racing and, how many people are involved with that and kind of what kind of exposure they're going to get out of it. I think that's definitely important.
So would you say if you went in there and said, hey, before, and just to give you an idea, I did a poll. And I asked, how many people there at the racetrack that I come in contact with would use your products, blah, 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 if they knew about it or had they tried it and da-da-da. If you went in there with that kind of information, good grief.
Yeah, I mean, that's the stuff we were talking about earlier about being creative with what you do. Maybe they just say, hey, if you give me some T-shirts and hats, I will hand them out, at the races. And you just got to be creative sometimes with what you do. And part of it is when you go in there, like you said, just sending an email is probably going to get deleted or shoved in a box somewhere and not read again. But if you include some other information, your resume, what your goals are, things like that, it kind of catches attention a little more and really helps bring it to light and see if you can get a sit-down meeting with them to get some stuff going.
And I would think in the subject line, if you put, I can... This email is, I can help increase your sales or whatever the case may be. And it's not really so much about you as it is you want to show them, if I could show you a way to increase your sales by, X amount, would that interest you?
Right, exactly. And I think it's, it's also important to, when you're going out asking these people things, if it's a business that you think can be something that grows with you over the years especially, if they want to start small, say, hey, you know what, things are a little slow right now, but I'll give you $50, say it's $50 a week, or it's, $300 for this, whatever the number is.
Right.
I always treated that as I was getting $100,000, because when you act like that to the business and you make them feel very important, that when you come back next year and ask for money again, if you've invested in yourself and branded yourself as being something that they can really look up to and be proud of, they're going to be more apt to help you again next year. And maybe next year they're having a better year. Mm-hmm. And the guy goes, hey, I really like this kid. Let's step the game up. He did a lot of awesome stuff for us. And you just kind of grow it as a partnership. I think that's very important.
Yeah. Lip, you got anything?
Well, I think that presentation's definitely it. Telling them what you can do for them is a big deal. I know when I was working with the drag car teams, we used to we had a file on the computer that was an outline of the car. So what I would do with a potential sponsor I would go ahead and make up the car with their name on it, and I would send it to them in the email, that I was asking for sponsorship through them, and this is what the car could look like. If you went with a full sponsorship, this is what the car would look like if you went with a partial sponsorship, that kind of stuff, and show them what it would look like and where the placement would be if they chose to go with a lesser one. And then also I would also include a schedule in there to all the places I would be that showed what demographic I was running for. There's a lot of tools that are out there if you do the research. And it also helps, if you're going after Napa. Napa, we'll just use them as an example. The demographic of the users there, you're probably going to be from 20 to 43. And, with what we do in racing, it hits that demographic. So you need to put that in front of people because, they're not going to want to sponsor a cooking show that's all females and usually over 60. So you need to bring some of that stuff into relevance to them so that they think that they're going to get their money's worth, which they do, but you still have to pique their interest in that way.
No, that's really good stuff, Lip. I mean, and that's part of doing the research before you go.
Kyler Culver says, "I'm a winner. Give me money."
That's so common. I hear people all the time that I'm winning the class. I just don't understand why I can't get any sponsorships. I'm a winner. It's not all about that. There's so much that goes along with it. How you present yourself, how your team presents itself. Terry says it all the time. Cleanliness and uniforms. These things all make you desirable to a sponsor. So if that's what you want, that's what you have to work on. You can't come off the track and pick a fight with somebody in the exit lane and expect to lock down a sponsorship that way. That's not what they want to see. That's not the way they want to see you. All of everything that happens from the time you pull into the racetrack to the time you leave, even at home on the internet, all that stuff reflects on who you are. And if you think that sponsors don't check up on that stuff, you're crazy. You really, if you're gonna go after this stuff, you've got to watch your P's and Q's right down the line.
Well, yeah, and what Kyler Culver isn't telling the sponsor there is he has no front teeth. His hair is long and in a freaking ponytail. His pants don't fit. So those are all things that that this doesn't fly. But Jason Suchich says, I disagree about emails. I received a $35,000 sponsorship via email from Falk Ambulance.
Well, and I'm not saying that it's not going to work all the time, but in Jason's case, I would like to know what that email said. Was it, hey, I run a racetrack. Do you guys want to sponsor me? And did they just dole out $35K? It'd be interesting to see what happened.
Yeah. I
like what he mentioned too about value at the beginning, down further in the messages. He talked about value. He booked 8 rooms to the Shiloh last week.
Yeah.
That's value right there. Sponsorship value.
That is a key thing, because it. But well, okay. Do you know Molly Helmuth?
Yes.
She runs a late model, right?
Yep.
You go former go-kart. I mean, she's beautiful and she's smart and she works hard.
Great driver.
She's a marketing magnet,
Mm-hmm.
right? Somebody's going to, even if she doesn't have a lot of wins, right? I mean, it's just going to be the fact that she's unique in the fact that she's a female competing in a predominantly male sport, that kind of stuff, and she's doing all her own stuff. I mean, that there again,
Danica Patrick has sponsorship.
Yeah,
so she's running for Tony Stewart, but she's got sponsorship.
That's right, and I could run last too, But who do you think are they gonna pick her? Or are they gonna pick me? I mean, we're both gonna run last, but hey. I mean, the odds are that's going to be that deal. So,
well, I want to. What Lippy said is so important about as soon as you put somebody's name on your car, cart, bike, truck, trailer, whatever it is. I mean, you become a spokesperson for that business. I mean, if you're driving down to Salem, chucking road sodas out the windows of your pickup, and you got their name on the side of your trailer, or if you're being a knucklehead after the race, it's just. That's how celebrities lose endorsements. It's the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
You gotta watch what you're doing when somebody puts their name with you.
And the other thing too is Mark Duperrin ran a sprint car at Dirt Cup. He won the first night of Dirt Cup in his first night out, right? And he had a Mobil 1 sponsorship, and he's from all the way up in Alberta, way up in Canada, right? And he come down. Every guy was wearing the Mobil 1 shirt. They all had the shirt on. It was pressed. It wasn't wrinkled. And you could tell that guy was a crew member on that guy's team. You knew who sponsored that car, Mobil 1, because everybody had a Mobil 1 shirt on.
I'm a big fan of that. I mean, I preach that all the time. Especially with the U.S. I mean, I just think it would be epic if, I mean, that's how we did it at Fowles. We had the red pants, the yellow stripe, and the match. I mean, it was but I don't know. Some people they're so worried about being cool and being the hip thing that they, well, nobody else is wearing. Yeah, well, you know what? I mean, if it's getting you to the racetrack back and forth, that's a good deal. So you got some tips? You said you kind of maybe had some specialty things that you kind of did that.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've touched on a lot of them. I would say if you're doing some numbers here, number one, when you go to talk to somebody, be prepared. Number one, have all your ducks in a row, know who you're going to talk to, and kind of work your pitch around their business. Just like what Lippy said, if you're going to Napa, you are their target audience. It's going to be tough to go to a sewing shop and try to get a sponsorship for kart racing when none of their demographics in there. So just, be smart about where you go. It doesn't mean that you can't go to a lot of places. Just, pick and choose what you think is going to work good. And try to talk to the decision maker at the business. Sometimes if you go to the front desk, they've been trained to basically round file some of this stuff that comes in because people don't want to deal with it. Try to figure out who the marketing person is for the business or get an email for that person and try to go to them, because they're the ones that are setting the budget for how much money they're spending a year to dole out to stuff like this. One thing we haven't touched on a little bit is, if you have kids, 8 to 15 or whatever, get them started. Please get them started in this kind of stuff, because if they want to grow in the sport, it's going to be important that they know how to do this, or at least have the courage to go do it. And that's where the feel-good part of it is really going to come into play for some of these businesses. They're going to want to help a young, boy, girl, whoever it is that's racing, that is put together and is obviously trying really hard to show, what they want to be and who they are. So,
well, Phil Fow told me a while back that he said, this is what I told a kid he should do. He says, and when you're talking kids, most everybody goes and they say, "Oh yeah, I need $25,000." He told me start small, but he says the big thing is go in there, have your driving suit on, and be ready to go, and come in with a little letter and go in around close to where you live, maybe where people maybe know you more. And he says, and just go in there and say, "Hey, listen, my name is Mark Smith, and I drive this, and blah, blah, blah. Here's my information. What I'm asking for is da-da-da-da-da, X amount. And for that, I'm going to keep you updated with a monthly newsletter that lets you know how I'm doing, my results, where we're going, where we're headed. And then also, we're going to have a free pass for a race of your choice for you to show up and see what I'm doing and what we're doing and how we're doing it. And, and basically, if you would like to help, I just... he says, basically, what business doesn't like to see a 10-year-old kid coming in there hustling
exactly, and
doesn't have a $50 or $100 bill in his pocket,
yep,
or access to one, right? He's going to say, boom, there you go. He said the kid went out and made almost $900 in a weekend.
Wow.
I think that's crucial. Getting the kids involved is definitely what needs to happen. If you're a father and you're trying to promote your kids, that's good. I understand that, but you need to have the kid with you, and the kid needs to be very, very much involved with that whole process, because let's face it, it's like having a husky puppy or a Malamute puppy at home. If you take that to the beach, you're everybody's friend. It's the same way with a kid that races. So if you have a kid that races and you're just out there beating the street, look, this is my kid, he's doing so well, give me a sponsorship, that kid needs to be there, and he needs to speak for himself as well, and you need to work on all of that with your child before you get there, because that's what makes the whole package. Businesses do like to promote kids. They do like to promote that stuff. So, you need to go about it that way. Not all of us have kids, so you've also got to do your homework before you get there. Like I said before, you need to hit the demographics. You need to have all your ducks in a row. You can't just go there, slide your information across the counter in front of somebody and hope for the best. What I found works the best is you need to build a rapport with them. You need to okay, so my engine builder, I spent 2 years with my engine builder paying for my engines to be rebuilt before I asked for anything. But after 2 years, I asked about the sponsorship program, and we do pretty well as far as winning, so that helped things. But I didn't go in there on my first visit to him and ask for a sponsorship, because that's not the way it's done. You really need to prove yourself and do well and represent well. But the same thing goes for, okay, you go down to the corner AM PM and you walk in there the first day and you tell them who you are and what you want. The best thing to do is to be recognized by them, get a rapport going, talk to them, find out the guy's name, and introduce yourself, not necessarily to sell yourself right away, but just to get a rapport going. And then after you get a rapport and a relationship going with that person or that business, then you pursue a sponsorship. It's much easier to go that way rather than just cold calling any business. Because you'll more than likely get put in the dumper.
Well, that's what I said earlier, Lip. You know what that's doing? It's a partnership.
Exactly.
You're building a partnership with the people that you want to support.
And let's not make any bones about it. I mean, it's work.
It is work.
Yeah, you're asking for money. I mean, it's if anybody can find that just free money, people handing it out, let me know. But I mean, you're going to have to go earn it. And that's the part that everybody doesn't get. So you said be creative, and this is something we talked about. So everybody's talking about the long trip to Salem, right? How do you know that you couldn't get creative somehow? And I mean, because the issue is, okay, I got this far to go or that far to go. What if you got your fuel paid for? Would that make any difference? I mean, is it the time, or is it the cost of the fuel, or is it, KB? So what would it be for you? You said you've got a 4 or 5 hour trip to Salem. You don't make it that often because of that. Is it the time restraint, or is it fuel, or is it the combination of both? If you had somebody to pay your fuel bill or half of it, would you be more entitled to come to Salem to run more events? Those are so maybe a guy gets creative and you go to, like you said, AM/PM or Shell or Mobile or whoever, and maybe there's a way. The other thing I think we talked about too, Mike, was go to Valvoline. Go to these places that offer that free stuff where you can get free product. If you hustle on that early and you're one of the first guys in the door, I think it's pretty much an automatic deal. I mean, it doesn't take a whole lot. You just got to tell them where you're running, how many events, and that type of thing. So I don't know that you got to really, really prove yourself, but that's saving you money. That's an oil change or whatever you need that you don't have to pay for.
I think that's something that we haven't really touched on, Terry, is find something that you need that somebody has. How do I explain this? So they may not have to give you money. Going to a gas station example and having them sponsor you some fuel. That's not retail out of their pocket. They're not just handing you $100, but they're giving you something that they have that's a huge value to you that may not be as big a deal to them, to give you. Bulk oil. There's a million things that you can try to find that are of huge value to you, but may not be as much out of pocket for them.
Right.
So it's easier for them to help you if it's a tangible item.
Well, I hear a lot, I don't need more product. I need cash. Right? I mean, what do you say to that?
Well, if you got, we talked earlier about you're changing a dry sump in your late model and you got 10, 12 quarts going in there at $10 a whack. If you don't have to pay for that oil, I mean, cash is cash, right? You're saving that money. So
whether it gets handed to you or you're saving
it,
it's still
at the end of the day,
$100.
you got $100. You got a C note in your pocket, and Rick Meyer that used to race at Portland Speedway, we called him $100 Rick because, his saying was everything you buy costs $100, and that's true. Everything I bought in the last month costs $100. It doesn't matter what it is. You dole out $100. It seems like so,
even for a Predator.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, they were on sale, so I got it for like $89, and I got some like flashlights and screwdrivers free from Harbor Freight. So it's a win-win for me.
I think starting small too is
Definitely.
great for some of our people that are just looking to get their feet wet as far as sponsorship. Just asking for money doesn't always go over well, but if you can say pay for my gas, look, I'll pay for the gas and give you my receipts when I get back, and then you can reimburse me for it. Then they can see where their money's going, and they don't think that they're just giving it to you and you're doing whatever with it. I think also once you find somebody that you have some interest peaked in, but they haven't jumped in with both feet or just started handing you money, if you see some interest there, try and get them to come to the racetrack.
Yeah, I was just gonna say,
offer them some free tickets,
Yep.
offer them some free passes.
Come hang out with you.
Yeah, come to
Yep.
my pits and hang out with me all day. You can be my second hand and start me, and just help out during the day or just watch, whatever it may be, to try and get their interest peaked. Because let's face it, the biggest thing that we face in karting is most people don't even know that we exist as far as the dirt fun that we have out there. So once you can get them there, it's usually setting the hook and being in good after that. So
Well, I think that's kind of baiting them in, a little bit. And you
Absolutely.
got to be smart about what you're doing. When I was racing when I was younger, I would just go find somebody, and maybe it was somebody that you already knew business-wise or somebody that you referred to. So they kind of already knew, maybe who you were and what you did. But just go to them and ask for a right rear tire or say, hey, I could really use, whatever it is. And then if they jump on board, you throw their sticker on your car in a decent spot. You give them a picture and a thank you card. And pretty soon they're thinking, man, that $50 wasn't really that much out of my pocket. And look what I got out of it. This guy's actually caring about what I'm doing.
yeah.
And then, then you start asking for more, and he feels better about giving more. And it's just a process. You got to invest in yourself is the main thing.
Absolutely. Hey, don't go anywhere, folks. When we come back, we're going to talk just quickly about first win. So be thinking about your first win. We're going to be asking you to post them on the chat line. We'll be right back.
Hey racers, Glenn Tower here from the Northwest Race Report. With the invention of the internet, our local go-kart shops have really taken a huge blow. One of the great go-kart shops out there is O'Hagan's Karts and Supplies. They offer a great selection of karts, parts, and service. We all want to win, and O'Hagan's wants to help. O'Hagan's Karts and Supplies, Lebanon, Oregon.
Hi race fans, this is Renee Angel and you're listening to the Northwest Race Report.
All right, guys. So we're back, and we want to know who remembers their first win. Where was it, and how did it make you feel? All right, good deal. So be posted on that. Kevin Bridges, Wayne Thompson. I know you've got one. Kyler Culver. Sucic may not, but maybe. And while we're doing that, we're going to go over some big stuff coming up this weekend. Salem Speedway, the Speedway Karts return with the flat track bikes for the one-day show. WHR Motorsports up in Monroe going this weekend. I think Strebe Speedway is up there doing their final event for their series. You can find out more at strebespeedway.wordpress.com. Check them out, or Strebfest Promotions on WordPress. You know anything going on? WHR. I mean, it's wintertime. It's usually either Salem or here, but if you haven't had a chance to get out to see the flat track motorcycles, do so. I don't know that I gave them a fair shake when I checked. Man, the last time I was there, it was awesome. I mean, they
put on a good show. Davis
Fisher. Sammy Halbert. I mean, dude. I mean, we got 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 guys that are one of the top riders in the country.
It's crazy,
and we got them right there at Salem Speedway. So, I think Jason was saying too that let's see, do we have any first wins here? Clark County Fairgrounds in the 90s. Wow, you were there, Culver. it says here that fair race was the first race my sponsor, Bridge City Auto Sales, ever attended, and they had a blast.
So I think he's talking the fair races in Salem this year.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, was that track too small?
I think it was great for exposure.
For the Predators, maybe not too small, was it? I don't know. Maybe it is. But wouldn't that be a cool venue if you could get that same size track in Salem with the stadium seating? Yeah, what you don't?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I mean the track was small. It is what it is, though. It's the same for everybody. I mean, I didn't.
But if you could have Salem's track in there,
yeah,
that would be
that
epic.
Would be legit. Yeah, for sure. Because that was cool having all those people be able to be in there.
It was.
In the
that was
stadium style.
That was a draw for sure.
Yep.
That was what I was trying to get across to everybody before that race happened. Is I knew it was going to be a small event in a big picture. So just to try and go out there and have fun, and that's going to be the most exposure that our karting scene has seen in forever. You're at a fair, for Christ's sake. So there's hundreds of thousands of people there, so it's a great exposure for us.
For sure.
Yes, the track might have been small, but people can get a bite and understand what we do and see the fun that's there, and that's really what needs to keep happening. Was it competitive? Probably not, but that's not what it was about on that trip.
Well, you had people cheering for, hey, vote for, and then when they had the kids come down and with a driver and they get that family rooting on, it was nuts, man. So it was really it was really a good deal all the way around. So, yeah, I guess so. Who else has got there first? The Clark County Fairgrounds in the 90s. So Lippy, where was yours at? Was it at ORV?
Yeah, mine was at ORV, and I raced at the Oakwood that winter. And when I came out to the summer show, I got my first win in Yamaha Light out at the ORV park. I think there was 5 of us that day, but yeah, the picture's still on my shop wall. It was my first win. I've got it labeled as that, and it was a brand new kart for me coming out into the summer series. So yeah, it was a great deal, and I haven't gotten too many since then. But yeah, it's been good.
Wow.
I was just getting ready to say, well, maybe KB doesn't have one because he hasn't chimed in yet, but he just did, so he's good.
Where was his at?
It said his first real win came at Westwood in a road race kart. Never forget it. It was raining so hard at one point, only myself and Mike Collins were making laps. He was running a brand new Atomic.
So was it a sit-up sprint or was it a laydown?
I think it was a laydown. I've seen pictures of him in laydown stuff.
Those Atomics were cool motors.
Looking.
They were cool motors. Yeah. I think that was a water-cooled, those, weren't they?
Wow, I don't know.
I think they were. But my first win was in karting was at Woodburn Drag Strip. I was novice light was the class, and I was working with a team, the Foster brothers, Mark and Greg Foster, who went on to become, road race legends. But I beat a guy by the name of Pat McGraw, and he was a Oregon State trooper.
Wow.
Yeah, and yeah.
And you beat him, huh?
I beat him.
Well, did you get home with any tickets?
He cuffed me afterwards. He says, that brother's got to be cheating. So, yeah. It wasn't air-cooled. Okay. So, yeah, first wins are cool. They mean a lot. They let you think for a minute there. Well, you heard Osborne. He says, man, I feel like I'm going to win them all now. So, I know we're getting close, but guys, we were a little bit late, so we want to make sure we give you your money's worth. So for a little bit over, you can bail if you need to, but if not, we're going to be here to make up the time, so we give you a full meal deal.
Minutes.
So
Lip, are you coming this weekend?
No, I'm not.
All right.
Unfortunately, my church has a work party day this Saturday, so I am the facilities manager, so it's my job to be there to boss people.
You got a lot of hats.
Yes, he does.
Don't even go there.
Yeah, don't even.
Yeah.
Hey, I won an award. Does that mean anything? I never won a race. I never even raced. So.
Sure, it matters. What's your very first award you ever won?
I don't remember, but it was really an honor to win that Northwest Focus Midget
Yeah.
media event. I know you guys were nominated too, and North Sun Racing and Northwest Race Chat, all the great media. You know that I'm seems like I'm part of all you guys. You know, it's kind of fun. We're all a big family, aren't we? Up here in the Northwest, it's kind of fun. Yeah, but the racers voted on it. They all get a vote, and they voted me the media member of the year. So that was pretty honored to have that. You know, that's pretty cool.
That is very cool. I mean, there was no way they were going to vote us in because, I mean, we didn't make too many. So
I was jealous.
Yeah, I mean, but still, I mean, that's would I've liked to have won that? Well, sure I would have, but not when you got the legend here, and he was nominated for Seattle's best too in their big.
Oh yeah, the results are coming out for that soon, aren't they?
Yeah, so who knows? You might have two.
Cairo or something was doing that.
Evening Magazine.
Their
That's best
right.
of whatever. Someone nominated me for that too. So
you're deserving, definitely.
Yeah. Well,
You're definitely devoted to motorsports in general. And as far as the focus goes, I don't know of anybody that's more knowledgeable than you are. So you definitely earned that.
Well, I'm looking forward to come down. I haven't been to Salem, so it'll be my first time down there in a couple weeks there on the Thanksgiving weekend. So
yeah, you'll love it. It's probably one of the, I would say it's one of the best. I mean,
Shaun the Dirt will be there is the plan now.
So we'll give you. Go ahead. We'll give you your shameless plug here on the Northwest Race Report. What is what night? What? Tell us about it.
That's just the podcast when I do events, and when I was up at the Focus party a few weeks back, I did some interviews, and even Steve Mortland took the mic and hit record and started recording an interview. So I was interviewed on that. Carlo wanted to do it, but Steve beat her to it. So. Not just go out to different events when I can make it out to an event, and I usually post up interviews. Sometimes I put them all together. Recently, I've been breaking them up, so if you just want to listen to the one interview, you can just hit play and listen to it. That's Podomatic is kind of what I've been using lately, and you can just listen to each interview. I like that because you can download them too, kind of like your show. You can download, or you can listen to it on demand or whatever. So, that's the plan. It's fun. I've been doing this for a while now, I don't know. It's been a while.
Where can people find it at?
ShaunTheDirt.com.
Okay.
We'll give you the link. It's SHAUN in the dirt, all one word. So ShaunInTheDirt.com. I use Podomatic, so if you search that Facebook page, Shaun the Dirt.
Cool, man.
And you'll find out, get all the information right on there. And I post a lot of other things on my Facebook page. I share a lot of news that I find, if it's local related, I try to keep it. But sometimes if it's big news, like this coming weekend, the ASCS is over in Arizona, Cocopah. And so we're going to have some Northwest. I know the Getz brothers are heading down.
Reese
the hauler.
Yeah.
The hauler's on the way. They picked Chase up at his college with the hauler. So I guess that they just posted a picture of that.
That's cool.
Driving into the college
That's
dorm
really
to
cool.
pick him up. So they're on their way heading down to Arizona. I know that Jake Hessel's on his way, and I'm sure there'll be a bunch of other Northwest. It's kind of cool ending it off in Arizona. So
yeah,
ASCS this weekend, and if you have that Lucas Oil, because if you got the Chili Bowl, you probably bought a year,
right?
Like I did, and they're gonna put it live on there. So if you have a year,
and I think Greg Burgess is the guy running it down there.
No, he was.
He was.
But he left. He's now in Texas. Or no, he's Longsdale Speedway in.
Oh wow!
Back in Tulsa area, I believe.
I'll have to get with him because we had him on the show last year when we did a thing on promoters, and it was a very, very interesting. Were you here? I think were you here? I think he was just a great great interview there on that, just on promotion and stuff. So if you get a chance, you can go back. Either that or I'll post it on the thing tonight for you. But
I just got a thing. I hear that Derek Roberts is going to be in the Strebe number 3 cart at Monroe this weekend.
Nice.
So check out that. I know.
I know they had a brand new guy just starting too. That was going to be boy, we hit him last week, or was it last week or 2 weeks ago? And so that's pretty cool.
That's Strebe?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't there like a 10-year waiting list to race there?
Well, you're going to have to get with Matt on that because, it's, is this something would you?
Dude, I'm game to go anywhere. If I can race something, count me in.
Well, Lippy could and here's the deal. I'm kind of teed a little bit. Well, I'm not, just only because
I beat him.
You did, but Carla Stewart got more points than me. Not that that's a bad thing. I mean, I guess I'm not ashamed. But
she does good things though.
Yeah. I didn't.
I've done the show like 3 times. I want to be in the announcer race.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, it was funny. Well, it had been 30 years. I mean,
that's true.
And I think the 9 detuned it a bit because it was. he did that on. He did that on purpose. I just.
Brian Squinia finally said, "Hey, he shows up."
Wow.
Wow.
BLG. Yeah. What's going on with those guys?
They're busy. That's what's going on.
Boy, I guess so. Yeah. I'm so. By the way, I've got some stickers on order. And so I've got quite a few of them coming. So
I need to talk to him too because I got the new body. So we gotta work something out.
All right, it's Squinia. So I guess an ETA on my stickers because I had a bunch asking for them this weekend at the cage kart challenge, which would have been epic to get some on that. But
they're a hot item.
They go out as quick as I get them.
Yes, they do.
Yep. So, but yeah. So this weekend, I'm hoping to turn out. Jason Suchich asked me a question today. Well, he says, "Well, no." He was just, what needs to happen to get more entries on these Saturday Speedway deals? That's what he asked me, and and I told him, everybody's got their reasons. I mean, you can't really good, bad, or indifferent. I mean, people, Is there anything, or is it just bad timing?
I don't know. I mean, you look at the cage kart weekends and they're packed, right? I mean,
they are pretty.
So I don't know. It's not something I want to do just because I like the flat kart stuff, but I don't know what the answer is. I mean, Lip might have some kind of input as to, there's classes that are affordable. You say affordable it's not affordable to everybody, but in the grand scheme of racing things, there's a lot more expensive things that you could be doing. So,
right.
I can't imagine that cost is keeping a lot of people away from coming and racing, even some of the, the 206 class or the Predator class. So right. I don't know what I think. Honestly, Terry, I think people are just busy.
And that's cool. People are just busy, and that's cool. All I want to say is, I just keep in the back of your mind, right? I mean, because in the summertime, people get busy all the time. We just don't want to get it to the point of where Bob's maybe thinking, what's up, right? I mean, maybe do we need to stop? We just don't want it to come to that. At least I certainly don't. But and that's not beating anybody up. I'm just putting it out there. It was just if you can make it this weekend, I mean, that is the best way to show any promoter that you're liking what they're doing, is just to show up and bring the numbers. Yeah. I mean, that's what they live by. So, and I'm sure it would help get Jason out of a pickle here and there too. So, if you can make it, great. We understand. I understand. I mean, it is what it is. But
he just needs to remember how nice the Speedway kart guys are, so he can pull it along.
It's definitely a tough deal, and I know that talking to several people that were down there over the weekend when I was there, some people were still putting carts together, waiting for stuff to come in, that kind of stuff. I think the numbers are going to get a little bit better, but what I think Jason needs to understand is times are tight. Money is tight, and the way their schedule is set up is every other week, and that is really hard. For go-karters to do it every other week. So that's where he's going to run into some difficulty. We can manage, one weekend a month for sure. 2 weekends is okay, we can give that a whirl, but to do that for 4 or 5 months or even 3 weekends in a month it's tough to do, especially when we've got a good travel just to get there. So, I'm glad that there's so many races, but it's tough to make them all.
And you know what? And I will say that Roger Freeborn, when he was there, had mentioned the same thing.
No, I agree.
Was that it was just maybe a little bit too much, and he tried to say, hey, maybe knock it down from 16 or whatever it is to 10 or 12 or whatever. But
it's just hard because you're going to get people that complain that there's not enough. The people that can go every week. There's people that will go every weekend. But I get what Lip's saying. It's tough. I'm rolling nickels. But, but it's what I do. So I skimp on other things to make sure I got my, $100 to go race on Saturday.
That's it right there, Mike. Though you just said it. You said it last week. You said it this week. To go there and to race, not just to get there, but just to race for the day and get your people in. It's $100 bill. So if they want us to come down 3 times in a month, that's $300. That's a week's worth of work. Let's be realistic. So that's where the difficulty comes in. Either A, they're going to lower their prices, which isn't going to happen, or B, don't throw as many races. It wouldn't set the expectation up, for everybody to come 3 times a month and spend $300 a month to do that. It's just a lot to do, a lot to swallow.
Well, and that's Jason just said the majority of people keep asking for more. Well, you can ask for it, but are those same guys going to show up?
That's what I'm saying. It would be it would be interesting to see who said it, and then
they want to run every weekend, then pay up front, and then that's not realistic.
No, I know.
You know what I'm saying.
Yes, I do know what you're saying.
Is there a season points
deal
there?
There is,
and you have to do how many races to do that?
All of them.
Do you? Do you get throwaways?
You don't
no
get the
throwaways.
miss one.
No throwaways.
You know what? And I'm for that. I'm not for throwaways anyway. It's not how it is in the real world. And if you race, you race. There's no throwaways. If you have a bad day, that's the way it is. But so I'm for that deal. I like that. But yeah,
I'm against it.
You're against what?
The throwaways, not having throwaways. I think you put a lot more people into the mix when you give them a throwaway. Because let's face it, family, life, everything else throws you a curve all the time. And a lot of people that want to be involved in it and they want to be, in the mix of things, but yet you miss one race, boom, you're all done. Well, that takes all the incentive out of it for me. I'm not going to go down and chase after it anymore.
Well,
I'm out of it.
What about
80%? He's saying.
Oh, 80%. You have to be okay.
Oh.
But what about Stingray Rob on the Gold Cup? Guy lived in Boise, Idaho. It was a 12, 14-hour drive anywhere he went to race, and he made every one of them. Right? Good, bad, or indifferent, crappy weather, whatever. He made it. So then now he's at all. He made every one of them, and now this guy gets to toss one, and it forces him to. It's like, well, what do I get for? What do I get for my loyalty for being at every one?
It's hard because on the 19th, so Thanksgiving's a weekend after that. I have to work that Saturday. I don't usually work Saturdays, but I have to work that Saturday to make up for the short week. So I can't go race,
Can you work on Sunday?
No.
Can you take the truck and just load your stuff and pretend you're working and then go work after you're done racing at 3 o'clock?
The Nissan Versa that I drive probably won't handle the. I don't have a choice. I'm not the guy that calls in sick, to go racing.
Well, what if I got it there, and then you could do your thing and be working, and then drive down, be there for the main event, run the main event, and then jump back in your truck and go back to work.
Well,
and then I'd haul it back home for you.
Okay, we'll talk.
Cool.
Yeah. I'll just have Jason push the show back a ways, and I'll be fine.
So it looks like 13 races, right? Looking at the schedule.
Yeah, I think that is what I counted. But that could be.
Yep, that's
a little bit.
Some of those are a weekend, like a 2-day show.
There's two.
There's a couple.
Yeah, and I don't know that those other second ones are going to be 2-dayers. It just depends on.
Yeah,
we got one more.
Yeah, but so it's going to be and boom, it's back to back 12 and the 19th.
That's what I'm saying.
And then the 3rd, and then
and then the New Year's weekend plus the weekend before Christmas.
Oh yeah, but you watch the couple weeks before into January come.
That's what we thought
They'll
last
be
year.
they'll be
and
in
they weren't there.
Groves, right, for the BK. I'm thinking, but
That's what we thought last year, and they weren't there. So I hope more people show up. I hope more people make the travel down. It's definitely worth it. We're not ripping on the track or anything like that by any means. This year has been a great year down there. The track is good. The officials are good. Everything's been going great down there. We just need more carts, and we're just trying to brainstorm on what's going to bring in more people because that's what needs to happen. It's a great facility, a great venue. It just needs to be better supported by the cart people.
Yeah.
Well, the 2-day shows, I think, and Jason says he's going to do one more as a test. I mean, for me, the 2-day show, I live in a little over an hour and a half away or whatever, and I'm not opposed to sleeping in my trailer or whatever I need to do to stay there, but, some people probably don't do that. They're going to stay in a motel, or they're going to drive home Saturday night and then have to turn around and drive back on Sunday, so you got double your fuel. I mean, those are things that come into play. But again, I want to be there, so I budget for it to make sure that I can make it happen. But I just don't know if everybody does that, and everybody can afford to do that. So.
Well, I noticed they had all those little houses blocking the, for noise.
Yeah.
Have you seen those on top of the trailers?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if they lowered those down and rented those out for rooms.
Actually.
It'd be like a little lodging right there at Salem Speedway. I don't know. It'd be kind of cool.
It's great to have a venue for us to race at and for us to go to.
It's
awesome, and it's awesome we have passionate,
But when you're like Kevin Bridges, he lives Federal Way, so he says that, when you're hauling, it does slow things down. So he says it's 4 hours for him. I mean, that is. But
Jason said it sounds like they're going to cancel the 31st too, on the chat. So.
Oh, really?
The December 31st race, because New Year's
right.
Eve, kind of a.
It's probably a smart move.
Yeah, there's probably going to be tough card count on that one.
Right.
So.
Well, it is what it is.
Jason knows no matter what he does,
he can't win. I know.
I
know. It's a bad deal.
But he's good at just rolling with it too. You know what I mean? Like he makes his decision, he sticks with it. 90% of us support it, and he's good at dealing with the other 10 that don't.
And honestly, if you look at what he does, he goes about it and tries to do it as fair. He doesn't just say, "Okay, you're done." Right. He looks at it and reasons it, and he wears a lot of hats. I don't know if you read my post on there, but the guy is, he's trying to get his own kids going,
right?
And then he's dealing with people that think their problem is a priority, and so is the next guy. He's thinking his is more important than this guy's, and then you throw in, the other campfires he's having to pull out, and people wanting, and where do I go? And he's answering the same question, 400 times, right? It's on the website, but I've still got to, and still got to be polite. So
he gets my props.
Yeah,
man, the guy is not an easy thing.
The guy gets it done, man.
He knows we support him.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I know I do. So, and so anyway, with that, I think we kept you guys long enough. Sorry for the technical difficulties tonight.
My fault. Blame me.
No, it's not. It was totally mine. I panicked.
Lippy blames me.
I totally panicked.
Well, you are the new guy.
Yeah. I think they call that the NFG, right? I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But hey,
thanks for having me.
Oh yeah, big shout out to Shaun in the Dirt. Check out his podcast. You can go listen to it. It's on Pod. What's it called? Pod.
Just go ShaunTheDirt.com. Podomatic.
Podomatic.
Is where you can get it, but just go to Shaun the Dirt Facebook page, Shaun the Dirt website. Yeah, hit me up.
Sweet.
Lots of good stuff there.
Big shout out to Christian Osborne for being on the show. Congrats on your first win. There'll be many more, I'm sure. Big shout out to Double M tonight, man. Great topic, and some excellent pointers. So we hope you learned a little something. That's what we try to do here is entertain you and whatever, but also we want you to take away a little something that maybe you can use to help your race team. That's really what it's all about. So if you like that, man, let us know. If there's a topic you want to hear about. We ask you this all the time. Give us a topic. Let's talk about it. Let's discuss it. Let's go for it. And we're open to constructive criticism. You want something on the show, or you think that something needs to change in the show, please let us know. That's the only way we're going to get better. That's the way it is. So with that, I guess it's another one in the books. Episode 46 this year. So we might have to do something special for that. Well, I've already had 100, right? If you count the last couple, but I just started over this year, 46. So maybe the end of the year we'll have some blooper things or whatever. But
cool. Nope,
yeah.
I'm gonna head south and dodge the fuzz. So I'll catch you guys this weekend.
Yeah, for sure. Lip, you're not going to be there? You got church?
I got church. I'm not going to make it this weekend.
Well, thanks for putting up the post on the deal. I caught that, by the way, that you posted. Said Terry is here, listen here, whatever on your thing. That was cool. And when somebody's on the bottom and they're taking the low road, what do you got to do, Lippy?
You're not going to go through the infield, and you're not going to T-bone them. You're going to go on the high side.
Yes, you are. You're going to run like Bryson James.
Woohoo!
And roll upstairs. Have a good week, everybody. We love you. We'll see you next week, 6:30 right here at terrybridges.com and the Northwest Race Report. Have a good night, everybody.